So it's lesson 5 from Unit 4, Video 2. So I'm going to be talking more about standard form, and this time we're going to be graphing in standard form. Okay, I'm going to graph the line using x and y intercepts. So we've talked about y-intercepts before, and that was when the equation was in slope-intercept form. But when it's in standard form, we're going to find both the x and the y. So if it's on the x-axis, so I'm going to make a little table. Okay, any point along this x-axis has a y-coordinate of 0. Any point on the y-axis has an x-coordinate of 0. So what I'm doing is plugging in 0 for y and then 0 for x. So if I plug in 0 for y, I just get 3x equals 9, x equals 3. So I have an x-intercept at 3, 0. Now if I plug in 0 for x, I just get y equals 9, because 3 times 0 is 0, so then that goes away. And your y-intercept is 0, 9. So what you're doing is when you find the x-intercept, you're covering up the y term. So it's basically like it's gone. And you're just solving the equation 3x equals 9. Okay, when you want the y-intercept, you're covering up the x term, and you're really just solving the equation y equals 9. So we also sometimes call this the cover-up method. Okay, so once you find those 2 points, then you graph them. So 3, 0, 0, 9, and then those are the only 2 points that you need to graph, and then connect them with a line. The line should still go all the way through your graph. And then have arrows at the ends. Okay. Let's do that a few more times. Alright, so I like to make that intercept table. So 0, 0. So when I want to find the x-intercept, I'm covering up the y term. So I just have the equation 2x equals 8. So x equals 4. Okay, and then I want to find the y-intercept, cover up the x term. So then you just have the equation for y equals 8, y equals 2. Okay, and then you want to graph those 2 points. It's always a good idea to put the scale on your graph, so who's ever reading it or looking at it after can tell kind of what your graph means, where the points are. So I have a point 4, 0, and I have a point 0, 2. So I can connect those with the line, and we want it to go all the way through. Put arrows at the end. Alright. Another way to graph these is to put them in slope-intercept form and then graph using your slope and y-intercept. So that's what we're going to do. Then to change this from standard form to slope-intercept form, I get y by itself. So subtract 2x. So I have negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. Divide everything by negative 3. Remember to keep the slope, this first one, as a fraction. So negative 2 over negative 3 is positive 2/3. And 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So now that it's in slope-intercept form, your slope is 2/3. Your y-intercept is 3. So that means find other points. So you go up to right 3. And then you go the opposite down to left 3. Okay. And I want to connect these. And have arrows at the end. Okay, now finding x and y intercepts could be easier. However, you do need to know how to change it to slope-intercept form because once we do inequalities next, this is what we'll do with the equations that are in standard form. So let's practice that again. Okay, so let's get y by itself. When you do -4 divided by 6 as a reduced fraction, that's -2/3 x, and then 24 divided by 6 is 4. So my slope is -2/3. My y-intercept is 4. So you start at 4 on the y-axis. My slope is -2/3, so down to right 3. Okay. Connect those with a line. And make it all the way through your graph, put your arrows at the end, and we're done. Okay, Unit 4, Assignment 8.